Welcome back to the Great Give Radiothon 2019. We've been going on a 36-hour bender of communal love, support, and building up. Every year we do this with the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, where we raise money for hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits to do great work in our community, to house people, keep them fed, keep them warm, keep their souls nourished, and our souls nourished. And 406 nonprofits are participating this year. You can find them all on the Community Foundation's web platform. It's called thegreatgive.org. Don't forget the. You go there, you read about them, give money. This last segment of our Radiothon is going to appropriately bring it home with the agency in New Haven that knows how to bring people home better than anybody else, and that's Columbus House. Say good afternoon to Catherine Deturi. Welcome to WNHH, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yep, and you don't need the headphones because you sound perfect there. So what do you do at Columbus House?
I'm the development director.
Okay, I love that word, development director, in modern lingo, meaning the person who has to scrounge around begging for money all the time, you know?
Making some money, getting the word out there about what we do, holding some events.
But I guess it means you're developing something big.
Yes.
And boy, you talk about an agency that's developed Columbus House. I remember in 1981 when Columbus House was an idea, came out at Dwight Hall at Yale. And if you want to hear me better, you can get the headphones. That'd be one reason. But when people were worried, starting to pay attention to renewed homelessness in America in the Reagan administration and after deinstitutionalization of mental institutions, and there were people sleeping under the train they were passed by train tracks on State Street, and all of a sudden it was showing up in the community, and people wanted to do something about it in New Haven, and they organized the Columbus House Shelter, which I believe started in '82. Does that sound right?
It started in 1982, and our name originated because we were on Columbus Avenue.
Okay, I probably didn't know.
But now we're on El Grasso.
Yeah, and boy, you're a lot of places too. So it started as a homeless shelter, and now you're in a bunch of places, and you do a lot of different things. And you've made such a difference in people's lives, including some in my life, and got them out of homelessness and in a good place. So what exactly does Columbus House do besides run a very successful state-of-the-art shelter on El Grasso Boulevard?
So the mission of Columbus House is to serve people who are homeless or about to become homeless by providing shelter and housing and by fostering their personal growth and independence. So it's our ultimate goal is to get people housed and into homes that they can remain in. So it's a comprehensive array. People can come to us through the 211 system.
211, yep.
But we provide immediate emergency shelter for individuals and families. And then we also have longer term programs that really help people address the issues that contributed to their homelessness. So we help people with connecting them to benefits. If they're a veteran and they should receive benefits. If they need help with resume writing or job skills, interview skills. And we also find them apartments that they can afford. Really what it is having people having the tools they need to maintain their independence. And sometimes that is just, a short coverage of rent for a month, which might prevent someone from becoming homeless if there's an illness in the family.
Those are some of the ways your job has developed as you become the state-of-the-art agency. People come to you to look how to do it, really.
Correct.
Trust you a lot. And the problem unfortunately got bigger. So you've been dealing with that. You're dealing with the prevention, and then getting people out of homelessness. You mentioned helping them find apartments, jobs, that kind of stuff, health services. And some people, like one person I know, you found them fellowship place where they needed to be some kind of facility where it's not a homeless facility, someone dealing with mental health challenges long term, and it really turned their life around. I mean, a lot of caring goes on at that place. So the main shelter on El Grasso has how many beds?
81 beds for men and women, adults.
Are the men and women segregated?
Yes, the first floor is women and the second floor is men.
I wonder what's going to happen as gender identities diverge.
Part of what we do, we are a trauma and gender informed agency. So it is something that our staff is always being continually trained on.
Did you read about the South African runner who was just a woman born with a high level of testosterone naturally, and her Olympic medals were taken away?
Oh, I did not.
It was on the front page of the Times. They very interesting questions facing everybody.
It is.
Traditionally, women's colleges. What do you do when people transition? Yeah.
Right. It's definitely an issue, and it's an ongoing issue that we're all learning about and really trying to be very person-centered. That's another housing first and person-centered approach is really what we believe in. So what's best for that individual? to help them on their path to
So then
becoming
you
housed.
also have an overflow shelter on Cedar Street, correct?
It actually moved. It used to
Uh-huh.
be on Cedar Street, and now it's right across the street from our main building on Ella Grasso.
So is that closed now for the season?
It just closed at the end
And
of
how many
April.
beds there?
75 beds for men.
So do you have enough beds? Are people ever turned away?
People are turned away. There can be a wait list. In the winter, we certainly never turn a woman away. But because of the 211 coordinated access network, it's a much better system. So people now, if they come to Columbus House, they know that they have a bed there.
Tell me what that
Um,
means. So you don't have to turn them away?
No, people that come through 211, they will get a bed where in whichever shelter has a bed.
Well, that's the other thing that's
Mhm.
changed in recent years. So places like New Reach and your shelter and others are working together where one person every day on a rotating basis from a different facility is is the intake person. Someone needs help and you decide where there's a bed and where's the best place to go. Good job of people working together
It
rather than
really
competing.
makes a very big difference.
Yeah. So you also have, you mentioned other kind of projects. Do you have supportive housing, meaning longer term housing that isn't a homeless shelter but
We
has services on
do.
site to help people with psychological help, employment training, drug abuse?
Absolutely. We have a lot of partners in the community, you know, Hill Health Center, Yale New Haven Hospital, the VA Center, the Herrera Center. They do a lot of work with us and our clients.
But do you have facilities that you're involved in?
We also work with landlords, so we have supportive housing sites where our clients and the landlords know that their clients are working with our staff so they can maintain that apartment.
Awesome. Good job. And then are you in Middletown?
We are. We have
me about that.
a lot happening in Middletown, actually. We run a family shelter there. We also did a warming center there this winter. We also did a warming center in Hamden. And we are working on, it's almost complete, the Shepherd Home, which is on the Connecticut Valley Hospital campus. It was a former nurses' quarters, and we are turning it into 32 units of permanent supportive housing for
What a
veterans.
great idea, and how appropriate at a place where we used to warehouse people. I've been in that place. It's horrible, or was, where you warehoused people who have mental challenges or otherwise have reason for being homeless rather than finding out how to get them straight. Good job. And so that's a lot of growth. And then recently you're partnering with Habitat for Humanity, am I not? Or the Yale architecture students to build a house in the Hill, right?
Yes.
For a
Yes.
family that's been homeless to live
Yeah.
in.
They're second year Jim Flock architecture students.
Now, there were some new restrictions put on. You know what happened with that? The city decided we'll sell you the land as long as you don't design it too wacky.
Right. They have, I believe it's still in discussions, but they, you know, as much as we want to keep in line with the look of the neighborhood, we also want to give the students an opportunity and the people who will live there an opportunity.
And looks do evolve. You don't
Looks do
freeze a
evolve.
look at one point in time.
And really, a part of it is the students speaking with clients or former clients. So they are designing a home for those who have experienced homelessness and what makes them feel safe.
But
in
what if
their
the
new
city
home.
won't sell it to you if they don't like the design? What are you going to do?
Well, that we'll talk to our chief real estate officer and work out a plan.
Okay. And we're talking about Columbus House, and one of the great agencies in New Haven, going on its 38th year, 37th year.
Yep, this is going to be 38.
And we're talking to Catherine Deturi, who's the development director at Columbus House. So total, how many people do you serve?
Per year, anywhere from about around 2,700 to
Wow.
to 3,000 per year.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
What have we learned about homelessness that we didn't know years ago to guide us in how to deal with it on a larger scale?
I think it's a real, we're trying to have a focus on, you know, it's not about building more shelters, it's about having housing that people can afford. There's a lot of reports that come out, you know, it's 99 hours a week at a minimum wage job to afford a 2-bedroom home in New Haven. So really, is there affordable housing that is in line with minimum wage that still allow people to buy groceries?
And imagine if you're a couple and you're stable, you got to work combined 9 hours. And if you have kids, how do you take care of the kids?
Exactly.
How do they ever see your face?
Exactly.
And how do you see each other?
Exactly.
That's awful.
And the beautiful thing about our family shelters is that, you know, for Wallingford, they get to stay in their same school.
Now, you don't do family shelters in New Haven.
No, we don't.
But we
a
have Christian
family.
Community Action that does that, and some others, correct? And our New Reach,
Right.
their parents.
Women.
Okay, so this is the Great Give, and people are singing for their supper. Did you bring a poem or a song?
I brought a poem.
Okay,
It
great.
is by a former client who's actually been housed for 4 years.
All right.
And he's actually a great advocate for housing rights and for Columbus House.
What's his name?
His name is Joe.
Okay, and if we don't mind getting a little closer to the mic.
Oh, yep. His name is Joe. So his poem is called The Life of a Homeless Man. Sometimes I like to pretend I'm away from the office, out getting a bite to eat, or just taking some time to cool off a bit. But with no place to return to, those thoughts fade, and soon again it's only you, watching people branch off to their different destinations, while yet you're on this journey, hoping to find a home.
Not bad.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And really what we like to focus on is those experiencing homelessness are people just like you and me. And there's many different causes for homelessness, and it could happen to any one of us.
Columbus House deals that problem better than anybody else we know of, or as well as anyone else we know of. And you can support their work and that of others doing the work by going to thegreatgive.org. Don't forget thegreatgive.org. Put in Columbus House, and let's show them a little support here as everyone tries to raise the money.
Yep, our goal is $18,000, and my last check we were at $11,500.
Okay,
so
$7,000 to go.
And a few hours left.
Jacob's Tent, you're involved with that, right? My synagogue's part of that.
Abraham's Tent.
Abraham, excuse me.
Yep.
Abraham, he was Jacob's grandfather. We so a week every year you come into our synagogue, go to other churches, and people spend a week where people are not going to be homeless for much longer, I guess.
Right. The goal is to get them
it's
into
nice
housing.
How it brings community together.
Actually originated due to a lack of funding and the community coming together and saying, how can we help these people that are now not going to have services? And really the communities and all the houses of worship came together, and now it's a wonderful program. This past year it was 15 weeks and 15 host churches, but there were a lot of volunteer churches that would help some of the host churches.
Right.
So it's a real community effort, and really the volunteers are just as touched as the men who participate in the program.
Catherine, how long have you been doing this work?
I've been with Columbus House. It'll be 2 years next month.
And how did you get into that?
I started really my first job, we won't say how many years ago, but I started in the nonprofit. My very first job out of college, I did finance, and I said, this is not for me. I need to be helping people. I don't have much.
But you had a finance background? Did you study accounting?
No, I was an English major.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this is what you're still doing, money.
A little, yeah.
But with a vision to helping people, not to just make money for rich people.
Exactly. You know you're making a difference. You see the impact. I walk in, our office building is in the shelter in New Haven, and I walk in and you ask a client how they're doing, and they say blessed.
All right.
They're blessed, and they're staying at the shelter. So the people are wonderful. The staff are wonderful. I always say I hate that there's a need for us, but I'm glad that we're there and we take the approaches that we do.
Well, we're blessed to have Columbus House in New Haven going strong since 1982.
Thank you. Well, we have great partners in churches and individuals and all types of community partners.
The Great Give, folks. We're bringing it home. TheGreatGive.org. 8 o'clock is coming. We got 5 hours and 14 minutes left. We got to get over the line. We got to get Columbus House from 11,000 to 18,000. So it's going to take a bunch of us. Go to TheGreatGive.org, put in Columbus House, and visit some other agencies too, because there are 406 nonprofits in New Haven signed up through the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven to all raise money together, to raise our community together. And we got to get over the line, folks. Thanks for joining us on WNHH-FM's Great Give Radiothon. Thank you, Catherine Deturi, for being our final guest to bring it home.
Thank you for having
Columbus
us.
House is really nice to chat with you. I love your positive energy.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And everyone, thanks for these 2 days of this radiothon. Thanks to Harry Droz, who does such an amazing, quietly just makes it all happen behind the scenes as our station manager, WNHH-FM. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free from the group CD, A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night long on WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.